Jurisdiction. The official power to make legal decisions or judgments. Authority. Control. Power. Dominion. Different countries have distinct legal jurisdiction over crimes committed within their borders. Municipal authorities have jurisdiction over minor civil disputes within their local communities. The agency expanded its jurisdiction to include oversight of international financial transactions. Arbitration. A method of resolving disputes outside of court. Mediation. Adjudication. Settlement. Negotiation. The two companies agreed to resolve their contract dispute through binding arbitration. Arbitration was chosen as an alternative to costly and time-consuming court proceedings. Following the arbitration, the parties were legally required to abide by the decision made. Statute. A written law passed by a legislative body. Law. Regulation. Rule. Ordinance. The statute of limitations prevented the victim from filing a lawsuit after the deadline. Violating the statute can result in fines, imprisonment, or both, depending on the severity. A recent statute mandates background checks for all employees working in sensitive industries. Amnesty. An official pardon for political offenses. Forgiveness. Immunity. Clemency. Absolution. The government granted amnesty to political prisoners as part of the peace agreement. The country's president announced a blanket amnesty for all non-violent criminal offenders. In exchange for surrendering their weapons, the rebels were offered amnesty and protection. Misdemeanor. A minor wrongdoing or less serious crime. Offense. Infraction. Violation. Misconduct. A misdemeanor may not carry the same long-term consequences as a felony conviction. The judge reduced the charge from a felony to a misdemeanor based on the circumstances. Misdemeanor offenses typically carry lighter sentences, such as community service or probation. Testimony. A formal statement given in court as evidence. Declaration. Evidence. Statement. Affidavit. The witness's testimony was critical to establishing the timeline of events during the trial. The defense attorney cross-examined the witness, attempting to undermine her testimony. The testimony of multiple eyewitnesses helped secure a conviction in the high-profile case. Verdict. The final decision made by a jury or judge in a trial. Judgment. Decision. Conclusion. Ruling. The jury deliberated for hours before returning a unanimous guilty verdict on all counts. The guilty verdict was followed by an immediate sentencing hearing for the convicted individual. The defense attorney expressed disappointment with the verdict, vowing to appeal the decision. Exonerate. To officially declare someone not guilty of a crime. Acquit. Clear. Absolve. Vindicate. The appeal process ultimately exonerated the individual, who had spent decades in prison. After years of investigation, new findings exonerated the official from corruption allegations. The witness's confession served to exonerate the defendant from any involvement in the crime. Incarceration. The state of being confined in prison. Imprisonment. Detention. Confinement. Custody. Incarceration rates have risen sharply due to stricter laws on drug-related offenses. The judge ordered the defendant's immediate incarceration following the guilty verdict. Incarceration is sometimes seen as a last resort for juvenile offenders in the justice system. Adjudicate. To make a formal decision or judgment in a dispute. Judge. Decide. Arbitrate. Rule. A neutral third party was brought in to adjudicate the disagreement and render a decision. The court was tasked with adjudicating the complex contract dispute between the two parties. Special courts are often established to adjudicate sensitive matters like child custody disputes. Perjury. The act of lying under oath in a legal setting. Lying. Falsehood. Deception. Dishonesty. He was caught committing perjury when his testimony contradicted earlier sworn statements. The prosecutor accused the defendant of perjury based on his false statements during the hearing. After the perjury charge, the witness's credibility was completely destroyed in the eyes of the jury. Legislation. Laws that are made or enacted by a government body. Lawmaking. statute, regulation, ordinance. The proposed legislation aims to improve workplace safety across all industries nationwide. Citizens are encouraged to voice their opinions on the recently introduced healthcare legislation. The government introduced groundbreaking legislation to address climate change and its effects. Defendant. A person accused of a crime in a court case. Accused. Respondent. Suspect. Litigant. The defendant stood nervously in court, awaiting the judge's final ruling on sentencing. During the trial, the defendant claimed they were not responsible for the damages caused. The defendant's attorney presented new evidence that could change the outcome of the case. Plaintiff. A person who brings a case against someone in a court. Complainant. Claimant. Prosecutor. Petitioner. The plaintiff presented strong evidence in court to support their claim against the company. During the trial, the plaintiff demanded compensation for injuries sustained in the accident. The plaintiff argued that their rights were violated by the corporation's discriminatory practices. Indictment. An accusation that someone has committed a serious crime. Accusation. Allegation. Complaint. Prosecution. The judge read the indictment aloud, detailing the serious crimes allegedly committed. Despite the indictment, the accused individual continued to profess his innocence to the public. The indictment was unsealed in court, revealing numerous charges of fraud and embezzlement. Conviction. A formal declaration that someone is guilty of a crime. Guilty verdict. Sentence. Judgment. Condemnation. The conviction shocked the community as many believed the defendant was innocent. The conviction carried a life sentence without the possibility of parole for the defendant. Following the conviction, the defense team immediately filed an appeal to challenge the ruling. Prosecution. The legal process of charging someone for a crime. Trial. Legal action. Litigation. Accusation. The prosecution presented strong evidence, but the defense successfully discredited most of it. The case was postponed, giving the prosecution more time to gather crucial witness statements. After months of preparation, the prosecution was confident about winning the high-profile case. Litigation. The process of taking legal action in a court. Lawsuit. Legal case. Court action. Proceedings. The ongoing litigation drained the company's resources, slowing down its expansion plans. Litigation over the contract's terms lasted longer than either party had originally anticipated. The litigation between the neighbors became more personal and bitter with each passing month. Felony. Serious crime that can be punished by 1 or more years. Major crime. Serious offense. Crime. Infraction. Committing a felony can result in harsher penalties than those for minor misdemeanors. Conviction of a felony can severely limit someone's employment opportunities in the future. Felony theft is often punishable by several years of imprisonment, depending on the jurisdiction. Charismatic. Having a charming personality that draws people in. Magnetic. Captivating. Engaging. Influential. His charismatic personality made him a natural in politics, effortlessly gaining people's trust. The actor's charismatic stage presence drew the audience into every word of his performance. The charismatic politician won over voters with his charm, eloquence, and persuasive speeches. Cynical. Believing that people are generally selfish and dishonest. Skeptical. Distrustful. Pessimistic. Suspicious. He had a cynical attitude, always assuming people had selfish reasons behind their actions. Despite his cynical approach, the team valued his critical thinking during challenging situations. The cynical journalist doubted the government's promises, questioning their motives at every turn. Ambitious. Having a strong desire to achieve success or power. Determined. Driven. Motivated. Goal-oriented. The ambitious entrepreneur worked day and night to expand her startup into a global company. Her ambitious project aimed to revolutionize the way education is delivered in rural communities. The ambitious politician sought to reform the entire system, aiming for long-lasting societal change. Introverted. Preferring to spend time alone rather than with people. Reserved. Reflective. Withdrawn. Introspective. He was so introverted that even small social gatherings left him feeling drained and exhausted. She was introverted but had a close-knit group of friends who understood her need for space. Being introverted, she recharged by spending time alone, reading, or reflecting on her thoughts. Extroverted. Enjoying being with others and seeking social interaction. Outgoing. Sociable. Gregarious. Talkative. Extroverted by nature, he thrived in social situations and felt most alive around others. The extroverted actor enjoyed being the center of attention, whether on stage or at parties. His extroverted personality helped him network effortlessly at conferences and professional events. Pessimistic. Expecting the worst to happen or having negative outlook. Negative. Gloomy. Hopeless. Defeatist. The pessimistic tone of the report suggested that the economy was headed for trouble. Her pessimistic attitude about relationships led her to avoid emotional connections with others. Even during celebrations, his pessimistic remarks about the future dampened everyone's mood. Optimistic. Having a hopeful and positive view of the future. Hopeful. Positive. Confident. Upbeat. The optimistic coach encouraged his players to believe in themselves and aim for victory. Her optimistic nature was contagious, lifting the spirits of everyone she worked with daily. He had an optimistic outlook, always believing that good things were just around the corner. Narcissistic. Having an excessive interest in oneself and one's appearance. Self-centered. Vain. Egotistical. Self-absorbed. The narcissistic leader ignored the needs of his followers and focused only on his personal gain. It was difficult to work with someone so narcissistic, as they only cared about their own success. The narcissistic celebrity constantly sought attention, needing praise from everyone around him. Compassionate. Showing sympathy and concern for others. Caring. Empathetic. Kind. Understanding. Her compassionate heart led her to start a charity for underprivileged children in her city. The compassionate teacher offered extra support to students struggling with their coursework. A compassionate friend, she was always there to listen and provide comfort during difficult times. Considerate. thinking about the feelings and needs of others. Thoughtful, attentive, respectful, understanding. Her considerate gesture of bringing food to the family during their loss was greatly appreciated. He was known for being considerate, always checking in on his friends when they seemed down. A considerate roommate, she always cleaned up after herself and respected others' personal space. Diligent. Showing care and effort in one's work or duties. Hardworking. Meticulous. Persistent. Industrious. His diligent work ethic earned him a promotion after consistently going above and beyond. The diligent gardener tended to her plants every day, ensuring they were healthy and thriving. The team appreciated her diligent efforts to research and provide accurate data for the project. Manipulative. Controlling or influencing others for one's own advantage. Scheming. Devious. Cunning. Calculating. She was known for her manipulative tactics, often twisting words to get what she wanted. His manipulative behavior became clear when he tried to pit his friends against one another. The manipulative politician made empty promises, exploiting people's emotions to gain votes. Resilient. Able to recover quickly from difficulties or setbacks. Durable. Strong. Adaptable. Tenacious. The resilient community rebuilt after the hurricane, coming back stronger than ever before. Her resilient nature helped her bounce back from the challenges life constantly threw her way. The resilient company survived economic downturns, always adapting to the changing market. Gregarious. Enjoying the company of others, very sociable. Outgoing. Extroverted. Friendly. Affable. Her gregarious personality made her a natural fit for sales, easily connecting with clients. His gregarious nature made him popular at parties, always mingling and making new friends. The gregarious host ensured that every guest felt welcome and included in the conversation. Instantaneous. Happening immediately without delay. Immediate. Quick. Rapid. Sudden. The lightning's instantaneous flash lit up the atmosphere before disappearing just as quickly. The response to the emergency was instantaneous, saving countless lives from the disaster. His decision was almost instantaneous, driven by instinct rather than careful thought or planning. Prolonged. Lasting for a long time or longer than expected. Extended. Lengthy. Protracted. Long-lasting. The prolonged debate in Parliament delayed the approval of the much-needed legislation. Her prolonged absence from work raised concerns about her well-being among her colleagues. The medication is used for prolonged treatment of chronic conditions like arthritis and back pain. Transient. Lasting for only a short time, temporary. Temporary. Brief. Momentary. Short-lived. The transient nature of the storm left little damage but brought brief relief from the heat. Travelers often experience transient friendships with people they meet on their journeys. The transient beauty of the sunset captivated everyone even though it lasted only minutes. Perpetual. Continuing for a very long time without stopping. Endless. Eternal. Constant. Unending. Perpetual rain in the city made outdoor activities nearly impossible for the entire week. The perpetual motion of the waves creates a calming effect for anyone watching the sea. The perpetual noise from the construction site made it impossible to concentrate on work. Abrupt. Happening suddenly or highly unexpectedly. Sudden. Unexpected. Sharp. Hasty. The abrupt changes in temperature are typical of the region's unpredictable weather patterns. His abrupt decision to quit his job shocked his colleagues and left them scrambling for answers. His abrupt departure from the meeting left everyone confused and uncertain about the next steps. Epoch. A significant period in history or someone's life. Era. Age. Period. Phase. The Renaissance epoch brought an explosion of art, culture, and scientific discovery to Europe. The Industrial Revolution marked a new epoch in human history, transforming societies globally. The Victorian epoch was known for its strict societal norms and rapid technological advancements. Timely. Occurring at the right or proper time. Punctual. Opportune. Prompt. Well-timed. The weather forecast's timely warning allowed residents to prepare for the incoming storm. The timely delivery of supplies ensured that the project continued without any significant delays. His timely intervention prevented a serious misunderstanding between the two business partners. Procrastinate. To keep delaying something that must be done. Delay. Postpone. Defer. Put off. It's easy to procrastinate when you feel overwhelmed by the sheer amount of work ahead. If you procrastinate too much, you might miss important opportunities that come your way. Students often procrastinate when studying for exams, leading to late-night cramming sessions. Subsequent. Happening or coming after something else. Following. Later. Next. Ensuing. Her promotion was followed by a subsequent increase in responsibilities and workload. The subsequent analysis of the data revealed errors in the initial experiment's conclusions. Subsequent to their discussion, they agreed to schedule another meeting to finalize the contract. Intermittent. Occurring at irregular intervals, not continuous. Sporadic. Irregular. Occasional. Periodic. The power outage was intermittent, causing the lights to flicker on and off throughout the night. The city's old plumbing system caused intermittent water supply disruptions, frustrating residents. Their communication was intermittent, making it difficult to maintain a steady flow of information. Contemporary. Belonging to or occurring in the present time. Modern. Current. Present day. Up to date. Many contemporary issues, such as climate change, require immediate and innovative solutions. She enjoys both classical music and contemporary pop songs, appreciating a wide range of genres. The contemporary design of the building stands out among the older, historic structures in the city. Enduring. To hold out against, sustain without impairment. Permanent. Durable. Long-lasting. Continuing. Their enduring friendship has lasted through the ups and downs of life's many challenges. The enduring legacy of the artist continues to influence modern painters and sculptors today. The enduring strength of the bridge has withstood decades of wear and harsh weather conditions. Premature. Occurring or existing before the normal or expected time. Untimely. hasty, rushed, too soon. It was a premature move to cancel the event, given the improving weather conditions. His premature decision to invest in the company cost him a significant amount of money. The premature release of the report led to confusion and a need for immediate clarification. Sequential. Following a logical or chronological order. Successive. Following. Consecutive. Ordered. The steps must be followed in a sequential order to ensure the system functions properly. Sequential chapters in the book introduce new concepts, each building on the one before. The sequential numbers on the tickets made it easy to track seating arrangements for the event. Retrospective. Looking back at past events or situations. Reflective. Backward-looking. Review. Hindsight. The artist's retrospective exhibition showcased the evolution of his work over the past decade. In a retrospective analysis, we realized that several key steps were overlooked during the process. In a retrospective mood, he reflected on the choices that shaped his personal and professional life. Fleeting. Describes something that happens really fast. Momentary. Short-lived. Passing. Transient. Despite the fleeting nature of their meeting, the connection they felt was undeniable. The opportunity seemed fleeting, urging him to make a decision before it disappeared. The fleeting moment of joy was quickly overshadowed by the harsh reality of the situation. Interval. A pause or break between two events or periods. Break. Pause. Gap. Intermission. She took a brief interval to gather her thoughts before continuing with the presentation. You should take small breaks at regular intervals to maintain focus throughout the workday. He noticed an interval of silence between the laughter, which felt unusually tense and awkward. Simultaneous. Happening or being done at exactly the same time. Concurrent. Synchronous. Coinciding. Together. The fireworks lit up the sky in simultaneous bursts of color and sound during celebrations. The simultaneous release of the films created a box office rivalry between the two studios. Simultaneous fireworks displays lit up the sky in cities across the country during the celebration. Persistent. continuing to occur over a long time despite difficulty. Enduring, constant, relentless, continuous. Success often comes to those who are persistent and willing to work through challenges. His persistent efforts to solve the problem eventually paid off, leading to a breakthrough. With her persistent dedication to fitness, she achieved her health goals faster than expected. Comprehend. To understand or grasp the meaning of something. Understand. Grasp. Realize. Know. He couldn't quite comprehend how such a small mistake caused major consequences. He struggled to fully comprehend the complexity of the situation presented during the meeting. It's crucial to comprehend the instructions before attempting to assemble the furniture yourself. Contemplate. To think deeply or consider something thoughtfully. Consider. Reflect. Meditate. Think. Before replying, he paused to contemplate the potential impact of his words and actions. She took a moment to contemplate the deeper meaning behind the novel's complex themes. He sat by the window, quietly beginning to contemplate the many choices he had before him. Speculate. To form a theory or guess without firm evidence. Guess. Hypothesize. Theorize. Wonder. The media continues to speculate on whether the celebrity couple has actually broken up. Economists speculate that inflation rates will continue to rise throughout the next quarter. People often speculate about his mysterious disappearance, but no one knows the real story. Interpret. Explain the meaning of information or actions. Explain. Clarify. Decode. Translate. The artist's work was open to interpretation, allowing viewers to interpret it in their own way. It's important to interpret the data correctly to make informed decisions based on the findings. The students were asked to interpret the poem's themes and present their analyses to the class. Deliberate. To think carefully or discuss something thoroughly. Debate. Discuss. Weigh. Reflect. The board members will deliberate on the proposed changes during their next meeting. They took several hours to deliberate the best course of action in the current situation. We should deliberate all options carefully before committing to a final course of action. Rationalize. To justify something in a logical or reasonable way. Explain. Defend. Excuse. Reason. It's hard to rationalize spending that much money on something you don't truly need. They tried to rationalize the company's sudden shift in strategy as a necessary adjustment. People often rationalize bad behavior to avoid feeling guilty or responsible for their actions. Envision. To imagine or picture something in the mind. Imagine. Visualize. Foresee. Picture. They envision a thriving community where people of all backgrounds are treated equally. She started to envision her dream home, complete with a garden and a cozy reading nook. He could easily envision himself living in the city, surrounded by its vibrant energy and culture. Ponder. To think about something carefully, often for a long time. Reflect. Consider. News. Weigh. We should ponder the long-term effects before making any drastic changes to the system. As the deadline approached, he began to ponder whether he had made the right career choice. The scientists continued to ponder the strange results of the experiment long after it concluded. Discern. To recognize or identify something clearly. Perceive. Detect. Identify. Distinguish. It's difficult to discern someone's true intentions just from a brief conversation or interaction. It's challenging to discern the difference between genuine praise and flattery in certain situations. Through careful observation, he could discern the underlying patterns that others had overlooked. Deduce. To reach a conclusion based on reasoning. Conclude. Reason. Figure out. Derive. From the clues, the detective could deduce the identity of the culprit almost immediately. Scientists were able to deduce the source of contamination through a series of experiments. He was able to deduce the solution to the puzzle by carefully analyzing each of its components. Assimilate. To absorb or integrate information or ideas. Integrate. Learn. Take in. Incorporate. Immigrants often struggle to assimilate while preserving aspects of their own cultural identity. He needed more time to fully assimilate the information before contributing to the discussion. The company's goal is to help employees quickly assimilate into their roles and responsibilities. Anticipate. To expect or predict something will happen. Expect. Foresee. Await. Prepare for. We should anticipate potential challenges and develop strategies to address them in advance. He could anticipate the challenges ahead, so he prepared accordingly to avoid potential pitfalls. The organizers didn't anticipate such a large crowd, resulting in shortages of food and supplies. Hypothesize. To make an educated guess or form a hypothesis. Assume. Guess. Speculate. Scientists hypothesized that the new treatment will be more effective than previous methods. They worked together to hypothesize different outcomes based on the data they had gathered. Researchers will hypothesize the effect of the new drug and then design an experiment to test it. Scrutinize. To examine something closely and thoroughly. Examine. Inspect. Analyze. Investigate. We must scrutinize every detail of the proposal before we sign any official documents. The accountant will carefully scrutinize the financial records for any discrepancies or errors. They scrutinize each piece of evidence, ensuring nothing is overlooked in their investigation. Formulate. To create or devise something systematically. Develop. Devise. Plan. Design. The professor helped students formulate their research questions for the final project. The team worked to formulate a plan that would address the issues facing the company. You should formulate your ideas clearly before presenting them to the board of directors. Introspect. To examine one's own thoughts and feelings. Reflect. Self-examine. Contemplate. Meditate. After the failure of the project, she began to introspect about what went wrong and why. It's important to introspect regularly to ensure that your actions align with your core values. The retreat gave her the perfect opportunity to introspect and reconnect with her inner self. Verify. To confirm the truth or accuracy of something. Confirm. Validate. Check. Authenticate. The journalist had to verify all the facts before publishing the article to maintain credibility. The technician will verify that all systems are functioning properly before the product launch. It's crucial to verify the identity of the person before granting access to sensitive information. Synthesize. To combine different ideas to form a coherent whole. Combine. Integrate. Blend. Fuse. The professor asked students to synthesize their findings into a comprehensive final report. The research team worked to synthesize multiple theories into one cohesive scientific explanation. She managed to synthesize conflicting viewpoints into a well-rounded argument during the debate. Evaluate. To assess or judge the value or quality of something. Judge. Appraise. Analyze. Estimate. She asked her team to evaluate the data and provide feedback by the end of the week. The teacher will evaluate the students' essays based on content, grammar, and originality. The corporation hired an expert to evaluate the potential of expanding into new markets. Diagnosis. Identifying a disease or condition based on symptoms. Evaluation. Assessment. Detection. Identification. The doctor made a swift diagnosis based on the patient's clear symptoms of infection. Early diagnosis of cancer increases the likelihood of successful treatment and recovery. The diagnosis was confirmed after reviewing the patient's lab results and clinical history. Pathology. The study of diseases and how they affect the body. Disease study. Medical analysis. Abnormality. Dysfunction. The pathology report revealed that the tissue sample contained signs of malignancy. Pathology can help identify abnormalities in cells that might indicate a serious condition. The pathology department studies diseases to better understand their causes and effects. Pharmacology. The study of drugs and their effects on the body. Drug study. Medicine science. Treatment research. Advances in pharmacology have led to more effective treatments for chronic conditions. Clinical pharmacology focuses on how drugs work in real patients, beyond laboratory settings. Modern pharmacology has transformed the way we manage diseases with targeted therapies. Oncology. The branch of medicine deals with cancer. Cancer science. Tumor study. Cancer treatment. Oncology is the branch of medicine that focuses on the diagnosis and treatment of cancer. She specializes in pediatric oncology, treating children diagnosed with various forms of cancer. Oncology nurses play a vital role in supporting patients undergoing chemotherapy and radiation. Pandemic. A widespread disease affecting large populations globally. Global outbreak. Widespread disease. Epidemic. Many countries enforced lockdowns to control the pandemic and reduce virus transmission. The pandemic led to unprecedented advancements in vaccine development and distribution. The global pandemic disrupted healthcare systems, economies, and daily life across the world. Neurology. The study of the nervous system and brain. Brain science. Nerve study. Nervous system research. Neurology focuses on diagnosing and treating disorders of the brain and nervous system. She decided to specialize in neurology after observing patients with complex brain disorders. Neurology covers a wide range of conditions, including epilepsy, stroke, and multiple sclerosis. Metabolism. The chemical processes that occur in the body to maintain life. Body processes. Energy use. Biochemical reactions. Metabolism varies between individuals and can be affected by age, genetics, and lifestyle. Hormones play a crucial role in regulating metabolism and energy expenditure in the body. Metabolism refers to the body's process of converting food into energy for cellular function. Endocrinology. The study of hormones and glands in the body. Hormone science. Gland study. Hormone research. The endocrinology clinic offers treatments for a variety of hormone-related health issues. Endocrinology deals with disorders related to hormones and the glands that produce them. Endocrinology focuses on diseases like diabetes, thyroid disorders, and hormonal imbalances. Immunization. The process of making a person immune to disease. Vaccination. Disease prevention. Inoculation. The nurse administered the immunization to protect against several childhood diseases. Immunization has played a key role in eradicating smallpox and controlling other epidemics. Public health campaigns promote immunization to protect societies from avoidable illnesses. Radiology. The use of imaging to diagnose and treat diseases. Medical imaging. X-ray science. Diagnostic imaging. The doctor reviewed the radiology images to determine the extent of the internal damage. Radiology plays a critical role in detecting tumors, broken bones, and other medical settings. Radiology uses imaging techniques like X-rays and MRIs to diagnose various medical conditions. Transplantation. The act of transferring an organ from one body to another. Organ transfer. Grafting. Implant. Organ donation. The transplantation of a kidney was successful, and the patient's recovery went smoothly. Organ transplantation has saved countless lives, offering hope to patients with organ failure. Advances in transplantation techniques have improved survival rates for heart and lung recipients. Neuroscience. The study of the brain and nervous system. Brain research. Nerve science. Cognitive science. She chose to study neuroscience to better understand how the brain influences behavior. Advances in neuroscience have provided new insights into conditions like depression and anxiety. Neuroscience research aims to unravel the complexities of memory, cognition, and consciousness. Homeostasis. The body's ability to maintain stable internal conditions. Balance. Stability. Internal regulation. Equilibrium. The nervous and endocrine systems play key roles in maintaining homeostasis in the body. Homeostasis allows the body to adapt to changing conditions while keeping its internal balance. Disruptions in homeostasis can lead to illness, affecting the body's normal physiological functions. Microbiology. The study of microscopic organisms like bacteria and viruses. Germ study. Microorganism science. Bacteria research. Microbiology focuses on studying microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, fungi, and parasites. Microbiology helps identify the causes of infections and guides treatment options in medicine. Microbiology research has led to important discoveries in infectious disease control and prevention. Genetics. The basic unit of heredity passed from parent to child. Heredity science. DNA study. Gene research. Genetics explores how traits are inherited and passed down from one generation to the next. The field of genetics has transformed medicine, particularly in diagnosing rare genetic disorders. The study of genetics has revolutionized our understanding of DNA, evolution, and human diversity. Biopsy. A medical test commonly performed by a surgeon. Tissue sample. Medical test. Specimen analysis. The doctor performed a biopsy to determine whether the lump was cancerous or benign. After reviewing the biopsy results, the specialist confirmed that further action was necessary. The biopsy provided vital information that helped the doctors plan a more effective treatment. Inflammation. Swelling or redness in the body as a response to injury. Swelling. Irritation. Redness. Soreness. Chronic inflammation can lead to diseases such as arthritis, heart disease, and diabetes. Inflammation is part of the body's immune response to protect against harmful pathogens. Reducing inflammation through diet and exercise can improve overall health and prevent disease. Epidemiology. The study of disease causes and effects in populations. Public health research. Disease statistics. Epidemiology provides crucial data for understanding the factors that influence public health. Epidemiology studies the distribution of diseases and how they spread in different populations. The field of epidemiology is crucial in understanding how outbreaks like COVID-19 occur and evolve.